All right, diving back to the best part of the program. I don't know if it's snowing in Michigan. I know it's cold because Ivy sent me a picture, said it was negative 3.8 or something like that. And I said, woo. She joins me now. Ivy, I know it's cold there, colder than it is here. It is snowing hard here, though. Is it snowing there?
It is not, no, just frigid temperatures.
Frigid temperatures, yeah. Yeah, the ponds are going to be frozen. Be careful on the thin ice, though, folks. Don't get too confident too early. As Ivy well knows, the most frightening sound in all of nature is ice cracking under your feet. It'll stop your heart every single time.
It certainly does. It certainly does.
Yeah.
And, you know, every year we read about people going through the ice, having to pull their vehicles out, which is unbelievably difficult and very costly. Your insurance doesn't cover such a thing. So maybe just be
if
careful.
Your car goes through the ice and sits at the bottom of the lake, it's your responsibility to get it out. The insurance company will not pay for it. And every day that it sits there, you get fined by the state. But I always like the fellows that, you know, come spring, they're ice fishing. The next thing you know, they're floating on a big chunk of ice across Saginaw Bay and they have to be rescued. Guys, come on. Stop.
It can't be that important to fish. I mean,
Exactly.
I love fishing and it is my number one hobby, but, you know, not at that type of risk. But, you know, I love to talk about the dumbest thing that I heard all week on Fridays, generally. And I want you to hear this bite from Ilhan Omar, if you want to put that bite one.
And his cronies want to act like we have no power to respond. The truth is we are more powerful than we think we are. And I want to underscore the importance of using every single leverage that we have at our arsenal, because we do have a lot of leverage. We need to make sure that those who are collaborating with the authoritarian regime pay a costly price.
Sounds kind of similar to some other things we've heard recently. What does pay a costly price mean? That's when, like an Afghani shoots two unarmed people and kills one and severely injures another. That's what happens when you say things like that. So
absolutely true.
Don't say stupid
rhetoric.
things like this.
And they keep doing it. They keep telling us that Donald Trump is the danger. And I want to bring the shooter here, the alleged pipe bomber arrested. Boy, does this blow up narratives. It's a 30-year-old African-American guy who was a hermit in his mom's home in suburban D.C., about 30 miles out in Virginia. I thought it was guys like me that were the biggest threat to America. Here's a guy that planted 2 bombs, lethal bombs, functional bombs, outside the DNC and the RNC on the evening of January the 5th, 2021. I mean, look, a lot of people can be dangerous, but stop trying to label me as some sort of a danger to America. Stop it. I'm tired of it.
Right. Well, the FBI and there was intelligence that actually the reason that this case was, broken and they found the guy was evidence that had already been collected and then re-reviewed. Had a bunch of policing had occurred.
There was nothing new.
There was nothing new. They actually went and were like, oh, here's this guy's credit card statements. Here's his cell phone records. They tied it all together and they said, hey, I think this is our guy. Now, obviously, he's innocent until proven guilty, but all of the, evidence right now is pointing to this is the guy. And but unbelievable that you wonder why under the Biden administration did it take so long for this guy to be caught or not caught at all. And then now with Trump being in office, the AG and the FBI and the other folks involved.
Opinion.
What did you say?
It was not a priority. It was not a priority. They were focused on arresting grandma for being in the nation's capital on January the 6th, along with 1,500 other people. They were focused on prosecuting J6 people. They didn't care about
Donald Trump.
And if they did know, and going after Donald Trump, and if they didn't know, or if they did know who this guy was, 2 things. If they didn't know, they're incompetent. It was just incompetence because there's no new evidence here, no new tip. And if they did know, then it's worse. Right. If they just turned away from it because they didn't like that it didn't fit the narrative. If it had been some hillbilly from Nashville, they'd have been all over it, right?
I want you to hear another bite that I have from Omar, and it's a little long, so I'm going to cut it off early, but let's play that one, Anthony.
Sentencing for 9 Somali American men is set for next week in Minneapolis, but a newly elected official is asking for leniency.
Minnesota Representative-elect Ilhan Omar wrote a letter to the judge asking for compassion instead of decades of prison time.
And Fox 9's Karen Scullin joins us now with what she had to say to defense attorneys and U.S. Attorney Andy Lugar. Karen?
Well, defense attorneys are asking for leniency, but so are several others who filed letters to the judge on behalf of the defendants. But U.S. prosecutors responded tonight with strong arguments why all of them should, in fact, receive the recommended sentence.
Election night was just 2 days ago, but it seems Minnesota Representative-elect Ilhan Omar may have already made her first move as an elected official. In a letter signed November 8th, Omar asks a U.S. district judge for compassion when sentencing 9 Minnesota Somali American men convicted of trying to join the terrorist group ISIS. She says the best deterrent to fanaticism is a system of compassion. We must alter our attitude and approach if we truly want to affect change. We should refocus our efforts on inclusion and rehabilitation.
Okay, Anthony,
but she's not
there.
the only one. 13 letters.
So there we go. This is when she's first elected. I believe it's 2017, it could have even been 2007. I have to go back and recall. I don't recall the exact date.
It's 2020. It's okay.
Okay, 2020. But again, here's the soft on crime.
Yeah. And here's the argument that they make. Well, most of them are peaceful, and that's fine, but that's not the point. Most Germans were peaceful too, except for a few on the fringe, and they got everybody led into a big war. Most people are peaceful, except those that are not, and they lead people into war. That's the problem that you have here. Stop worrying about, oh, most of them are peaceful. Yeah, most of them don't matter. It's the ones that are violent that matter, and that's the problem with what we're seeing there.
Right, absolutely. And it goes back to this being soft on crime. And how many crimes recently have we seen of people being jailed, let out, and then committing more crimes?
Too many.
Kill people,
the one guy that I just saw,
people.
72 arrests. 72 arrests. I got to leave it right there, Ivy. Appreciate you. Love you.
I love you too.